have one other thing coming his way. He's got the stock coming out. That came out today, actually. It was the Digital World Acquisitions Corp, and they were a blank check company. They merged, and now Trump or Truth Social, his Trump media thing, is now on the stock market as DJT. And
oh my goodness,
his initials, Donald J. Trump. What's funny about that is there have been two other stocks that had the ticker DJT, and both of them were Donald Trump's, and both of them failed. I know one of them for sure went bankrupt. So this is the third time.
Oh no, nothing. It was the best stock in the world.
It was the best until
it's the biggest winner in the entire world.
Until it tanked and everybody lost all their money. So let's look at this a little bit, because I think that's what's going to happen now. Is everybody's who's invested in this is either going to, well, basically, if you're bullish and you're smart, you're going to screw over all the suckers. But most of them, it's the old saying on Wall Street, bears make money, bulls make money, but the pigs get slaughtered. And this is just a gaggle of pigs. So.
Boing, boing.
And with the move, Trump enters the list of the world's 500 richest people with a net worth of $6.5 billion. The merged media company begins trading tomorrow under the ticker DJT, Trump's initials. What should investors know ahead of its debut? With me tonight for more is Axios business editor Dan Primack. Good to see you, Dan. Thanks for being on Last Call. We saw the chart there of the stock sort of just moving along and then reduced bail, and it took a pretty significant leg higher. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, I'm not sure it was about the bail. I think it was about DWAC said that they were going to start listing tomorrow, that they were going to relist as DJT. They'd gotten the shareholder vote last Friday. We assumed they would list at some point this week. They announced they were going to list tomorrow morning. I think that was what moved the stock. People who want to buy this thing got excited and decided they wanted to get in before DWAC becomes DJT.
Okay, and so we've got the relisting tomorrow under this DJT, under a new ticker in this point. What about his shares? He has to hold on to them a while. Does he have any window to sell ahead of his hold pattern?
He does not. He is under a 6-month hold for his shares, which are in the tens of millions, maybe around 70 million shares. He has a 6-month hold. Now, he can ask the board of directors for a special dispensation to sell ahead.
So let me clarify that real quick. So, because this has happened in the past with these types of stock issues, where the owners will issue the stock, the price will come out, it'll be really high, and it's basically printing money kind of thing. And then the owners will sell right away all their shares and get it in cash because they know the underlying stock is bullshit, and fuck over all the other investors. Right? So they've put in a rule that if you're one of the owners and you do this, you have to wait 6 months before you can sell or trade any of the stock. So it sits there frozen, basically. And that way you don't screw over the investors. Well, he can ask, what the guy was saying, special dispensation. He can ask the board, the shareholders, right? Can I start taking out money early? And they can vote yes. But if they vote yes for him, they vote yes for pretty much everybody. Well, the problem is that they vote yes for him. He owes all this money, and he's in deep shit. And right now, there's a big chance he'll take money out and tank the stock. But there's a double big reason why he'd tank the stock, and this guy will get into it in a second. But I want to go into sort of the strategy behind some of this and why it's kind of a paper house in a lot of ways. It could end up being a lot of money, but it's still a paper house.
Ahead of that, inside that 6-month window, and it is worth noting, the board includes his own son and a couple members of his former administration. But it's a really tricky balancing act, because if he asks for that, if it looks like Trump himself is heading to the exits, other people might run. And then there's the question, is there enough market demand to buy such a large number of shares that he'd be looking to offload? So it's a little bit tricky. He could sell some, perhaps, if he got the board to let him, but then that could tank the value of what he's got left.
Oh, is there a reason for him to want to borrow against those shares?
To borrow against those shares? Sure. I mean, he clearly has a bunch of, he's got a bunch of court penalties against him, even though he got the amount reduced today. It's still a lot of money. So there's a reason he would want to borrow against them. Whether someone would be willing to, though, is another question. The underlying company here is lousy. I mean, you're talking about a few $1 million in revenue for this thing. I mean, there's been a bunch of comparisons to this to GameStop. I mean, maybe if GameStop was Google, the company here, there's not much of a company underlying this. So to lend against it, you're taking a pretty big risk as the lender.
So that is the key here to why this is kind of bullshit is, so typically when you invest in a stock, right, it makes you a partial owner in that business, that company. So if I buy Disney stock, for example, I might be like a 0.00001% owner.
I'm right now, as you know, in a very tough re-election.
I don't know what that was. But I might be a 0.0001% owner, but I'm still technically an owner, and I get voting. Most stock has voting rights, not all of it, but most of it does. So the idea is I'm investing in that company and the company's profits. And so the underlying value is if the company goes under, right, the creditors get paid, and then after the creditors, the shareholders get paid, if there's anything left. So you want a company that's got a lot of assets. So you're looking at what are the assets of the company, right? What's the profit of the company versus the number of shares outstanding? What is it really worth, right? And then you value the price kind of like that. So a lot of companies trade at like 1 to 2, 2.5, or maybe 3 times the value of the underlying company. Right, but you don't want it to be much more than that. In this case, Truth Social is almost worthless. Trump thinks it might be worth $25 million, but we're talking about $5 billion in stock.
Mm-hmm.
So the price you're paying versus the value of the company is over 1,000 times. Right.
House of Cards, man. House of Cards. Right.
Yeah. So it's not really like there's anything there to invest in. So let's go. Where was this? So let's look at. I want to look at this article first, actually. So this is Forbes. And just a million ads. All right. So Trump's social linked stock pops 15%. That was the other day. His shares are 3.3 billion, so he has 79 million shares at whatever the current price is. But they said big questions later. Okay, so here's the deal. So shares of the blank check company linked to former Donald Trump's social media venture surged Monday, though the rally appears to be an instance of some investors looking to throw their financial weight behind Trump rather than back a robust business. Okay, so here's the deal. So DWAC was the initial company that picked up Truth Social. Now it's DJT, right? Okay, so they had a 15% bump, hitting an intraday high of nearly 43. I think it's up now to like almost 60. The rally pairs, there was a big loss on Friday. Let's see. So Trump's media's financial statements contain little evidence that the company's worthy of 4.7 billion to 5.6 billion market capitalization, implied by Digital World's Monday ticker. Trump Media booked $3.4 million in revenue and $49 million in net losses during the first 9 months of 2023. So that means they lost in 2023. That company was negative $45 million. That's the profits that you're investing in. So I think a lot of this is a speculative trade. It's not an investment trade. This is not some long-term thing, because there's not that many people. I mean, I think there may be 10 or 15 million people on Truth Social, and most of them are there just to see Trump.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of like a fan club, if you will.
Yeah. And a lot of the investors in this are Trump supporters, and we know that. And they're looking to get hosed because for Trump's position, there's no underlying value to this company. There's nothing there. So if I'm Trump, as soon as I can sell, I'm probably going to sell. And, he's going to have to eat the taxes, whatever that is. But why would I hang on to this when I know it's worthless? And I guarantee you this, with the kind of investors that are...
And you need a bunch of cash.
Yeah.
But
the big ticket investors that are in this, or the people that are investing to speculate, right? They know this too. So as soon as it starts to go down, right, any little significant amount, they're all going to bail and get out while it's still high, because they're riding on top of it. Because it's the same thing that happened with GameStop, where GameStop is a worthless company, but all these people who were fans of GameStop started investing in it, and their stock price shot up, and it was something ridiculous, like over $100 a share. And then people started selling. And what ended up happening was a lot of the people that bought in to try and support GameStop got screwed, because the big investors, once it peaked out, said, boom, we're taking our money and running.
Right.
And now GameStop's back down to being worthless again, and it didn't take very long. This is even worse than that. This is a company that's never really made money. So,
Oh gosh.
so we're watching the investors going in and peeling out the suckers first. So like I said, bears make money, bulls make money, but pigs get slaughtered. So let's look at this real quick. So here it is, DWAC. Let's see if it'll give me a chart here, or if it's being stubborn.
Yeah, you know what? It sounds like people, trying to get involved in this whole thing are just playing with fire, really.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. So yeah, I told you it's close to. Yeah, it's close to 60 now. So it's only been open a day, so. But yeah, I mean it's gone up since the other day, so it's up 16% today. So, but look at this. I mean, end of the day, I mean, at one point it peaked out at 68. So this is where they're clearing out the suckers, right? 68, boom, sell. I just made a shit ton of money, right? Because if I bought in the previous day when it was trading at like 41 or whatever it was, 40, 49 or whatever it was, right? So now I just made $8 a share. So if I bought $100,000 shares, I just made $800,000.
Right.
So it's quick. So this might be a fun one. I'm not suggesting anybody do this, but I probably will at some point short this. I'm going to wait and see if it peaks out around 60 or something, and then I'll probably buy a put and strike it at like, I don't know, 45 or 50. And then if it collapses, then, all of leverage, I'll made fucking probably 2 or 3 times what I invested. So might be fun to short this one because I don't see it lasting. But the problem is on paper, yeah, right now he's worth whatever it is. They say about 6.5, but like 3.5 or almost 4 of that is this, which he can't touch right now. He has to wait 6 months. And what's it going to be worth in 6 months? Unless he can get access to it now through the voters or through the voting for the shareholders, in which case it would be stupid for him not to just sell it and tank it and take the money and run.
Right.
And screw over all of his followers. Not that he hasn't done that before. But yeah, so that's what's going on with him and that shit.
So interestingly though, doesn't that position him to be tanking his stock that his followers have largely bought into right before the election?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what a lot of people are hinging it on, is that they think he's going to win the election. But yeah, no, like I said, you're basically signing up to be a banquet for the rest of us who actually invest and know what we're doing. Because if it looks like it's going to be a sucker's bet, you better believe I'll throw a few grand against it just to see what happens. Worst case scenarios, I might lose a few $100. Best case scenario, I might make 50 to 100 and 200%. But the other thing that I think is really,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tempted to play with that one too, and that's not really my jam. I tend to be a buy and hold sort of girl, you know what I mean? But there's some serious temptation to play around with this one a little bit.
It is. It's gambling. Don't get us wrong.
Right.
We're not advising anybody to do this. It's gambling, but
No, not at all.
But it's
to a
tempting.
degree, it's a terrible idea because it's like a total gamble. But
this is why
could be a fun gamble.
Could be a fun gamble. This is why it's like doubly tempting to me, is because if this whole thing revolves around Trump and what's going on with him, so if things are looking good for him, I'm sure the stock will go up. But if things are looking bad, I'm sure people are going to start bailing out to be safe, right? Because it all hinges around one guy, not around a company or a company's profits. Just one guy and what he's doing.
Bye.